Hello guys, so today we're going to talk about Web3, especially the environment, Web3, the NFTs, blockchain, all the important points just to understand before starting or even creating anything on it. There's a lot of videos or publications around it at the moment, so I just wanted you to have some information about it, about the folders, the files, those are the topics, the uniqueness, smart contracts, decentralization, why are you actually creating NFTs, there are some risks, and the future probabilities. So what can you expect for the future, what is better, configuration at the moment, and you will see some advantages, and also I want you to be aware that there's a lot of risks around it. So let's start with the folders and the files. So there's different kind of types, PNGs, MP4, it can be encoded or encrypted files, secrets, or even more, but it's a way to exchange those data, and it's really a good way also to have control of your data. You own your data from your computer, or you pass it through services already existing to own your data by paying a small fee. For example, I don't know if you heard about Piñata, maybe we're going to talk about it later on, but Web3, it's something that people are interested in because they can create applications and have control over the data. So there's 4 points about the files just to know. That's the web services in the Web 2, like Piñata, for example. We used it for the Creditizens NFTs. They propose a gateway, so it's like a bridge between both. Second point, whenever you change a file in a folder, let's say you posted it on the IFPS on the Web3, it changes the hash attached to it. It's very important to know that. So the file can exist on the Web3 for a limited amount of time unless they are pinned. So pinned files are like separated in different chunks and they will be stored in different computers. We can call it like nodes. When you will need to access to it, it will aggregate, so it will just get those chunks and bring them back to the original state. Your hash will be the identifier of their uniqueness. So this is how your files are decentralized, because they are they are stored in random computers, and this is the idea, just to make it simple for you to understand that there's a hash, and that's how we use in Piñata, for example. So whenever you change anything in the file, just a line, you will get another hash that actually be linked to your folders. So after this part, talking about the files, we'll be going to see what actually is the uniqueness. So the uniqueness, that is what makes NFTs so popular. It's because they are non-fungible, therefore unique. It is a combination of IFPS to store your data, hash, and blockchain protocol that ensure safety of transaction. Also, the decentralizations is possible. It just make it possible. Decentralization, talking about that, is not a 100% decentralized. So some protocols they are, but some others are partially, or some others are just fully centralized. The more decentralized, the more ownership is on your side. So for example, some exchanges like Binance, I don't know if you heard about it, it's centralized. when PancakeSwap is more something like decentralized. Definition is still needed. At the moment, the concept of Web3 is still in the definition phase. Some protocols accept the example blockchain, for example, the blockchain and NFT, which opens the door to the creation of applications, make payments, or build companies. So Web3 is the concept in which you'll be able to build and link all those services. There's risks. It's important to focus on this point. The advantage, it's in your own asset, but can you actually control it? On the other hand, the risk is the loss of your asset without being able to recover it. There is no regulation. Prepare yourself for some scams, rug pulls, fake token addresses, which are going to empty any wallet connected to it. You'll be able to trace the transaction because there is a ledger that records the history of all transactions, but it's still limited. It doesn't mean that you will be able to trace everything. The blockchain ledger, it's good to have the history of all transactions happening, but there is no name behind those, only the addresses and transaction hashes. Your asset is traceable until it arrives in a centralized exchange where the wallets are multiple and you won't be able to see where your stolen crypto, for example, went after case of a cryptocurrency, because for the files it's a little bit different, but the entry and the exit of the wallet addresses are different, and multiple it can be exchanged or even change protocol through network bridges, like passing from Polygon to the Binance Smart Chain and after to Solana. So it can just use those bridges through those exchanges, centralized exchanges. That's what makes it difficult to trace. The future probabilities. So for the moment, the Web3 is not really defined, but more like a combination, in my opinion. I think Web2 and Web3 through gateways, and those gateways actually is going to be able to serve those resources, assets to the end user. This is still under construction, but can change anytime soon. It goes very quickly, so we don't know tomorrow is going to happen, but let's find the reasons why you want to create an NFT at the moment. Is because you're from the tech world, you're just addicted to the tech. So you're a tech fan or part of the tech world and want to enter in the history of being part of the people who just revolutionized the internet and the technology. And you're part of those people who posted those first NFTs, who used those protocols first. So it's also for the trust. Like if you're an artist, and you want to have full control on your art. You want to connect with your audience directly, and the most important part is to solve the issue behind copyright. For example, on NFT assets, you set a percentage of royalty that will be paid anytime your asset is sold in the future. So it completely eliminates the risks of copy, of somebody copying your work and somebody not paying you your royalties. The third point will be maybe to fund. There's a little typo here. I'm gonna fix it. To fund real life projects. You have a huge project in life, real life, our life now, the physical one, and you want to build a school, a hospital. So you can see it more like a crowdfunding. So to support people, charity and more. You can create a token on an NFT or an NFT collection and get your community to participate. Isn't it better than crowdfunding actually? More reasons exist, like for example, fully creating a company which will be decentralized, The rules are set through contracts. At the moment, you can see that talking about the metaverse, a lot of companies are starting to have a front store in the metaverse. This is just some numbers around Creditizens, which they are minting payments and the features all have been set through a contract. It's called the smart contract. And that contract lives on the blockchain using protocol here, Polygon and Solana. The positive vision, so there's still room to start. Developers of smart contracts will probably become the most wanted kind of developers in the future. So will you start? What do you think about it? Presence on different networks. So I just told you before about the Creditizens, Solana and Polygon, for example, for smart contracts or CLI. So different way to create them. For example, Solana, the creator use CLI, but for Polygon, you use a smart contract. So there's good documentation, community, and resources available. The documentation is nice, and there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube, GitHub, Google, blogs. We use Remix and MetaMask for all the Ethereum, like Polygon, the Ethereum networks. The coding language is Solidity. Choose your code language to get concepts. So any code language. The owner of Creditizens, it's a Python developer, but this will help you to understand the smart contract and to learn how to create. You will also be able to understand it through amazing tutorials on YouTube. So the Creditizens here, it's not financial advice. Everything I told you is just an information. Now you have maybe a little bit more better idea about what's the environment. I didn't talk about the DeFi or all the different farms and the things happening at the moment, but this was just information to push you to search more around the Web3 and the combination, the interactions, and the reality of the risks involved. So the risk is huge actually, because you don't have a control over it. So merci, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and just use all your Google accounts that you have to come and like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.